Be sure and tell them Large Marge sent ya.
In the 90s, we were just teeny tykes. We liked our movies and our bikes. We wanted to be DJs, but we were just teeny gals. So we went off to college and we remained as pals. 20 years later, we're still watching flicks and we're bringing you the favorite bit by bit. Sweetie and Sweetie are here to say it's the Large Marge Santa's podcast. Hey.
Hey guys, welcome to the Large Marge Santa's podcast, your favorite podcast where two sweetie sisters talk about movies that shaped their childhood. I'm Sweetie with an IE.
And I'm Sweetie with a Y.
Today's my pick, guys, and I'm really excited about it.
Why?
Here's why. So, this summer, I identified, a couple movies that were ruminating in my head, and I was excited about them. I announced this one. I was pumped. So we tried to do it a couple weeks ago. Turns out, one of those movies not streaming anywhere, which is pretty rare these days, I mean, we've come across a couple, and the Disney movies do not count, but like regular movies. Sometimes it's just not available. What can you do, right?
Yeah.
So our awesome friend of the podcast, Rebecca, happened to have this movie on DVD.
What?
How lucky are we?
Oh my God.
And also, our fans are awesome. Thank you, Rebecca. And so we watched tonight Shag. So I'm pretty sure Shag is a type of dance that was popular in the 60s, and I want to say in the South, but I'm not completely sure. It's just geolocated in the South, but as a Northerner, as a Yankee, never heard of it up here, So I don't know if it's like Southern tradition stuff.
Yeah. I mean, when you told me about this movie, I was like, is it about wigs? Is it about rugs? Is it about sex? There's several meanings here
so
about,
much.
with shag.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that it meant
Is
dancing.
it about there's like
shagging
a golf
some balls?
stroke? Yeah.
How about we shag some balls?
Oh, yeah, shag some balls.
It's from Doug.
Oh yeah. Wow, that's why English is like so fucked up. If you were trying to learn English
forget it.
and you have one word that's literally 5 different meanings. Whoa.
The Eskimos have 5,000 words for snow.
Yeah. I guess we're like, well, they have a lot of snow, but do you have a lot of shag? I mean, weird.
Maybe.
Anyway, so Shag from 1989.
Golden year.
Golden year for movies. That would be how many years ago, sweetie?
30.
Yes, 30 years ago. So here's my history with Shag. Another one of those movies that was played on TV a lot. But Sweetie here never saw it.
Never saw it. Never heard of it. Never saw it.
Never saw it. And this is one of the movies that I definitely watched when I was younger and felt really old because it's so the girls are 18, but it's heavily about sex and making out and doing it.
Yeah.
And I was probably like, if it came out in 89, it was probably on TV like a couple years later. So I would have been, let's say I was under 10, I'm pretty sure, when I first saw this, maybe 9. So that's pretty scandalous to a 9-year-old to be looking at all that stuff.
This is basically a sex comedy. I would classify it as.
Oh, totally. So it was on all the time, and I would just be like, oh, and just loved it. And this is really before. Okay, so this is 1989. So there was some of those. All I can think of off the top of my head is Dirty Dancing. So movies that there was a nostalgia for the 1960s. So in the 80s, they did movies about the 60s, sort of as we have done movies about the 80s. If you want to look at it like that, like a 20-year break, and they're like, let's do cool movies about the 60s. And it was a lot of romantic comedies. I feel like there's another one.
Grease. No.
Oh yeah,
Porky's.
Okay. Yep, Grease. Even though that was in the 70s. Yeah, whatever Porky's was. But definitely a nostalgia thing going on in the 80s. And so you have that aspect to it. You have the girls' weekend aspect to it. You have the really cool music, the really cool clothes. So it was just right in my wheelhouse. And if you know anything about me, Mad Men is my favorite TV show of all time. And this is right basically in the thick of the Mad Men time. Except it takes place in the South, which is really interesting. Again, coming from being a Northerner, don't know a lot about that culture. And I certainly didn't when I was like 9. But at that point, had we driven down south?
Sure.
Yeah, we had. So I guess I knew probably more
knew
than a lot
enough
of
to
people.
know it was a scary place.
Yeah. So
No
I was
offense.
obsessed with this movie as a kid, especially the end dance contest scene. I go absolutely batshit for anything with a dance contest. I still do. It gets me like
It was cute.
revved up.
I feel like it was like not well lit. Like it seemed a little dark for
The
a
dance
second.
scene?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I was like, hello? Hello?
yeah, maybe. I mean, it was in like a dark bar. But anyway, this movie is
was good.
cute as a button. And I, obviously it's one of my favorite movies. So I love it. But we all want to hear Sweetie Sweeterson's opinion. First watch. Sweetie, what'd you think?
Well, obviously, there's a lot of this movie that's in my wheelhouse as well. 60s bathing suits, fashion. Bridget Fonda is basically, I believe, Betty Draper's muse is what my personal theory
Good point,
is. And what else? Dance contests, beauty contests, hot guys, getting laid in boats, making out in closets. Like, there's a lot of things on my list here. It's like checking off all the boxes. So I loved it. Yeah, it was great. It was a real romp.
I know. I'm so glad. And it's definitely one of the ones that a lot of people have not seen, though there was, I would say, about 5 of our fans like immediately direct messaged me as soon as I like posted we were going to do this movie a few weeks ago. So it's definitely one that people have like seen. And if you've seen it, you've loved it kind of a movie. But it was one of the was it in theaters? I'm sure it was. But like we were too young. And then if you saw it on TV, I think you're like, wow, what's this
Maybe
like
they
cool
played
vintage
it-
movie?
Maybe they played it late at night, and that's why I never saw it.
Maybe. But like,
Or
why
something.
was that?
Yeah, because you were like, this is when you were in your like discovering sexuality phase, probably. Whereas I was like still too young, and then like I stumbled upon Porky's one night instead of this, and that's what my like sex comedy association
Porky's?
was with.
Oh, you poor thing.
Oh yeah, saw that at like randomly a sleepover, and then we watched or we rented it or something. I don't know. Yeah. Hilarious, but good movie, good flick. Liked it, enjoyed it a lot.
Good flick. And like, here's what I like about it, other than all the things we already mentioned. It seems like, I mean, it's very like, I would say like pro-woman, feminist, if you will. I think it's a feminist film in many ways, because you have all these women sort of dealing with things that are going on. Like they're prim and proper Southern girls, and you can tell that each one of them have like a little bit of a problem with it in some way or another. And then they really all get sort of like they come around, they get what they want at the end. So they all get men, which is decide whether it's feminist or not. But they do like win out in each,
But they all
each
get
way they want it.
men of their like who they want to
Wanted,
be
yeah,
with. Like
right.
I think if you look at it as in choice,
Right.
right, then yes, feminist, sure,
Yeah. And you have very liberated women, let's say, too, sexually, which is a thing that really, like, they don't do a lot of movies about in many ways. And this was sort of like, fighting against that. And they had, girls talking about sex and all that stuff, which I think is really important, and that a lot of women, like, do not do enough of. Like, you got to get out there. You got to talk about shit, just like men do. I mean, like, it should be equal. So, anyway, I love that aspect of it. And yeah, I'm really excited to talk about the movie and talk about
who's in
the
it?
plot. So this movie features what I would say is like pretty much like 80s gold for women. So you have Phoebe Cates, who was pretty much the biggest thing in the 80s.
Yeah.
We've already done a couple movies with her. Drop Dead Fred, Gremlins 2. We haven't done the other big one she's really known for, which is Fast Times
She's in
at
no.
Ridgemont High.
Not Babes in Toyland though. That's
No.
someone else. That's confusing.
No,
That's
but
confusing for me.
But so we haven't done Fast Times because that's a little bit too old for us. We'll definitely cover it at some point, but I haven't seen it. I know like some of the characters in the scenes, but I haven't really seen it. But if you remember and if you know that movie, she's really famous for like the red bikini scene and like all the guys who grew up who were like sexually awakened at that time, like and masturbated to Phoebe Cates in the red bikini. That's what I've heard.
Takes the top. She's like boobs out, right?
Yeah. So she was a
Tits out.
big deal.
Yeah.
Then we have Annabeth Gish, who I believe her other famous movie is Mystic Pizza, right? Which we also haven't covered, which I do really want to do. Again, one that I've only seen like some scenes from.
I only saw half of it when I was on the gym on an elliptical.
Same thing. I've only seen like little parts, but it has Julia Roberts in it. It has the other actress who I can't. Lily something. Yeah. And isn't it about Mystic, Connecticut, which is like right down the street?
Yeah.
Not really, but
and
whenever
pizza.
I drive by Mystic, Connecticut, I'm always like, Mystic Pizza, Aquarium. Those are the two things like Mystic, Connecticut is known for.
Yep. Sure.
So that is another one. And then last but not least, as you said, Bridget Fonda. Which, where the fuck did you go, Bridget Fonda?
Where did you go?
So I looked on IMDb. Her last movie was in 2002.
She's probably mourning her father's passing most recently.
Well, but I think she gave up acting is what I think happened. Unless she's like writing books
Maybe
or
she was
something.
taking care of her ailing father.
Well, for that long?
Maybe. Didn't he have cancer? What was his bag?
Yeah, he did have cancer. But
sad.
I think she just stopped acting. But she was a force to be
Man.
reckoned with in
Bridget.
the 80s and early 90s. So
just that bitch.
Most famous one's Single White Female, right? Like, whoa. Huge. You've seen that, right? Again, only seen like a couple scenes or know some of the famous scenes. Killing the puppy. Didn't that happen?
Yeah. Why? Don't bring it up.
Yeah. So she was like hot shit in the 80s as well.
She just for the record, she did not kill the puppy. Okay, it was the other one. It was the crazy bitch.
Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yeah,
is the other
that
one.
crazy bitch.
But she's like fabulous in this, and she is like fucking beautiful. She's gorgeous bitch. And then like no one, I didn't recognize the Luann character as being someone who was like either past 80s stuff or like went on to do stuff. But you said she was
funnily enough, you guys, she was actually had a little cameo in Gremlins too.
Right.
As a tour guide. So that's also what Phoebe Cates' character was in Gremlins too. So buds, BFFs for life.
Buds.
She was also in a very famous segment of Creepshow 2, I believe, that a lot of people have been like scarred of like their entire life, called The Raft. And I didn't know that until I looked at, like, if you look at her on IMDb, that's the picture that comes out. I'm like, oh, that scene. That was her. But yeah, poor Luann. We'll get to that. But yeah, I don't really know her.
No, but she's great.
Yeah.
And then the men, again, are like, Harley, didn't recognize him. Buzz, he was in like Nightmare on Elm Street 2. I don't know if you've seen that sequel. And then something else too, but again, like don't really didn't make it, I don't think, too big, but like what a stud. Hot. I remember being very attracted to him when I was 9 years old. I will say. He's very tan. His face is kind of square, and as Sweetie said, he kind of looks like a hotter Hank Azaria, if that's like a possibility.
Yeah, it was sometimes because he has like a half a unibrow or something, or like it like there's something
look that cute.
Yeah,
but like when he
did,
but he's like really tan. And he wears like these bright white shirts and these like cut off khaki shorts, and he's like
I was
skinny.
into it.
He was fishing. Whoa.
Chip, David Lynch regular. He's been in a bunch of like most of his movies. I thought that was interesting.
Well, I saw he was in Space Camp. And then and then
another
something
scarred
else
for life
that he was in.
I ain't ever go to space camp.
Yeah, I want to watch that one too. But he was adorable. Reminds me of my boyfriend Jimmy. He's like a Jimmy lookalike, though he has red hair, but like similar like demeanor and stuff. Adorable. And like I'm kind of Pudge, even though I'm not Pudge, but I feel like I would be Pudge in this situation.
We are all Pudge.
We are all Pudge.
Yeah.
Let's get at this table.
Let's
be
real. I think everybody.
Okay.
Like it's like the Sex and the City. What is that called? Formula, where you have like 4 women and like 3 are like drastic like stereotypes or like really far ends of the spectrum, and then there's one that's like regular, down to earth. Miranda, Pudge. It's just the way it is. It's just I
actually called this in my notes "Sex in the City in the South."
I like it. I like it.
It's very much like, as you said, like 4 girls, each have a personality. They're talking about sex or hooking up with boys. And that is like candy. That's like catnip for us.
It's exactly like it.
Yeah. We're
and you know exactly which girl each of them is.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know.
Wild.
Yeah, it's wild.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
But other than that, yeah, no. I mean, the adults, like, no one really famous. The bitchy girls, I don't know what they're in, but they suck. And the Johnny Valentine guy,
Yeah, weird.
Don't think
Too
he
much
went
eye makeup.
anywhere.
Not sure what was going on there.
He was strange.
Also, weird accent. Yeah, I don't know.
Weird accent. I'm like, it was supposed to be. I think he was a New Yorker, but sometimes it sounded like he was
Who
Russian.
can tell? Yeah, like I don't know. It's really weird. Really weird.
Really weird. But let's get into the plot because it's pretty fun. And I think you'll enjoy it, whether you've seen the movie or not. But you should see this movie. Though you can't stream it, so I don't know how you would. DVD. It's you know what we should. I mean, Rebecca, I'm not going to mail this DVD out to everybody, but that'd be pretty fun to do, like a Sisterhood of the Traveling.
I'm sure
Pants
it's like
Shag
5
DVD.
cents. I'm sure it's like $1 on Amazon or something.
That's true.
To buy the DVD, not stream, as we know.
Okay, it's time for the sweetie synopsis. Yeah,
Sweeties.
Okay, I have 3 lines that I want to say because they're all like
Oh my
really
God,
fun.
too much.
So Bridget, how do you say her name? Milena. Looks like Melania, but it's Milena. She says to everyone, every cute guy, "What a sweet potato." Love that. I'm gonna start using that. And then, you rape artist, Luann says to Buzz when they find out that him and Carson had sex on a boat, lost her V card.
Sweetie's called me a rape artist at least 3 times so far since she's decided that's her new term.
Totally inappropriate, but it's really effective. And then the last line, "Y'all the horniest bunch of white folks I ever seen."
Elvira, best character.
Yeah,
by far.
The maid.
Yeah. Dope. Cool. Milena, Carson, Luann, and Pudge are 4 gals taking a trip. They're celebrating Carson's upcoming nuptials to Harley, a real drip. If I ever saw one, he sucks.
He's so square.
They kind of,
He has corners.
they kind of hate him, and they're like, they're like 18 years old, but here Carson is getting married, and I don't think they feel great about it. The girls, they're like, let's take her on like a wild girls trip, bachelorette style party. We're gonna tell everyone that we're going to Fort Sumter, but we're actually gonna go to my parents' house in Myrtle Beach. And then they don't even tell Carson until she gets in the car, and they're like, "P.S. We're going to Myrtle Beach, bitch!" Wow, guys, Myrtle Beach, lawless place.
For
Lawless.
the record, the Sweeties have been there. We went on a family vacation, I want to say, in 1998, maybe.
7?
7.
8?
And we went down there, and it was like April
Mar-
vacation? Or was it March?
February. I think it was February.
Yeah, I think it was February. So it was cold. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
too cold because we couldn't go to the beach or anything. And it was just sunny, maybe like 60s. So it was like right before spring, like a month before spring break. So it was like dead there. And you could tell like it would have been fun, but it was no like spring break fun craziness as in this movie at all.
Well, yeah, but it seemed like even wilder than that. Like it
Probably
like,
was.
They're like driving down the street. You can't like drive anywhere, bumper to bumper, just like people dancing in the streets. And then people just like drive by you and throw like shit on your car and douse you with water.
Here's
and
what I
shit.
think it was. I think it was the white version of New Orleans. Because if like New Orleans was always a crazy spot, but you obviously had like a lot of black people. So I think like white people, you know, let's say racist white people were like, let's make our own place. And it sounds like it was Myrtle Beach.
Interesting.
Because there wasn't a lot of black people in this movie other than the maid and the singers, right?
Yeah, all the peripheral characters.
So that says a lot.
Yeah, good old the South. So the girls arrive. They it happens to be, as we said, during a kind of like
This is 1963, by the way.
Right, 1963. This takes place during the summer of 63. And there is a festival called the Sun something festival. I don't know. Some exciting festival. There's all these events, and one of the events is a shag contest. So Pudge is really super into dancing. And she wants to enter
Loves
that.
Shag.
Yeah.
And so does everybody else, because basically if anyone in the background of this entire movie is just like shagging away. Everyone's just like, oh, let's shag. Let's shag at the drive-in. Let's shag at the beach. Let's shag like at this bar. Let's shag here.
Yeah.
Shagging was like
lot
all
of shagging.
the rage.
A lot of shagging. So they go out, they get all dolled up, go to the local watering hole, and meet some guys.
Well, the guys who throwing the shit at them.
They threw the shit at them?
that was them.
No. They were the first. They were the guys that were like, hey, and they were just trying to talk to them. But I don't think they threw shit at them. It was these other ragamuffins that drove by.
That was them.
Why'd they throw shit at them?
Because they were just trying to like flirt with, as boys do when they like you. They do mean things.
Ugh. Anyway, so we got two boys here, Buzz and Chip. Buzz is immediately taken with Carson, because it's always like the most boring one. The guy's just like
most boring, pretty
beeline to her, no personality. I'm there. And then he dances with her, and she's very, oh, I'm engaged. Sorry, bye, blah. But obviously, she's like secretly attracted. So they dance. Luann gets sexually harassed or molested by some like crazy guy in a hat. No one seems to care. And Pudge meets Chip, who is Buzz's friend, and they have like this sweet instant connection. It's like it's wild.
Chip is a sweetheart.
He's a total sweetheart, and you wouldn't have thought it, but super sweet.
Yeah, just like Pudge, not a lot of moves, really friendly, and they just connect on that level.
Milena, on the other hand, has like a different mindset here, where she's like not going to go to college, probably not going to get married right away, so I'm going to get my kicks while I'm still young enough to get them, basically, as my good friend Rizzo says. And she immediately, she's very flirtatious, meets like a trashy guy on
Billy Bob.
White
trash.
Yeah.
Because they're like, okay, so everyone's a Southerner, but like you had some like classes of Southerners. So Luann is really wealthy. Well, they all are. But Luann is the daughter of a senator, so like really up there. And then you had the next, like the lowest tier of Southern people, who the rich people called white trash, which like we would, I guess, call poor white people white trash too.
I guess. I think there's poor. I mean, they weren't like hillbillies. Yeah. I don't know. I think they were. I think they were like locals. Unclear.
Like locals, and not like I don't know, like the blue collar, white collar, like regular people who live there.
Totally. Yes. So Milena like goes off with Billy Bob, and Luann goes after her in her car, and then these two bitches who like suck and hate Milena because she's pretty and like getting in all the guys and like.
Well, Billy Bob was the ugly one's boyfriend.
Are we sure?
Yes.
Or I thought she just wanted to have sex with him too.
No, because they trash Billy Bob's car as well.
Okay, spoiler. So Billy Bob tries to get it on with Milena. She does not want to go all the way, but he refuses to listen. Sexually assaults her basically in the car, and then the girls come. And instead of rescuing Milena, pull her out of the car and then tar and feather her with shaving cream and toilet paper and leave her in the woods.
Get her drunk.
And leave her in the woods. Thank God Luann was still on the case because she finds her, brings her home, bathes her. What a friend.
Yeah, she might be the most responsible and uptight, but she was really the best friend.
She was the best friend. Milena, works friend.
Yeah.
Not a good friend at all. You don't want Milena as a friend.
No.
So let's see. So they come back to the house.
Well, where are the other people?
The other people are at the carnival, fair, boardwalk, whatever, with Buzz and Chip. They have a good time. Next morning, Chip comes and takes Pudge to the beach where they grow only closer. Buzz and Carson go fishing. They get really close because she like hurts her finger on the hook, and then he like takes it, and I thought he was gonna suck the blood out, but he didn't. Thank God, because AIDS and
AIDS in '63.
Bloodborne pathogens, whatever.
It's still not good. Don't drink anybody's blood.
Don't do that. But they kiss, lock lips. Whoa. Right. She's like feeling the heat.
And she had already called Harley and told him that
dummy.
They didn't go to Fort Sumter, that they're actually in Myrtle Beach, and he's like, you come home right away. I mean, he's not like that, because he's not like, he's just kind of square and like he's not controlling or anything, but he is like a little bit questioning, like, okay, my girlfriend, my fiancee should not be in Myrtle Beach partying, even though, hello, that is what a bachelor party is. Harley. Anyway, so he's like, fuck that, I'm coming down there. Doesn't tell her that, but that's what ends up happening. But stuff is happening. So Pudge and Chip are slowly getting closer. You have Buzz and Carson, as Sweetie said, kiss for the first time. So, I think the marriage is in trouble between her and Harley. And then you have Milena, whose career ambition is to win the Miss Sun Queen competition. And she's all ready to do like a hot little jig in a bikini to what is, I don't know, the
Stars and
Confederate
Stripes?
fight
Oh.
song or something?
Yeah,
Like, I don't know if
something like
that is
that.
related to, and holding a Confederate flag, and she does this like dirty dancing. It's like one of the best scenes ever. It's so funny. So Luann convinces her that that's not ladylike. You know, Luann's all about ladylike. You should do a scene from Gone with the Wind, also very Southern, as like dramatic interpretation. So unfortunately, going against her own gut, she decides to go with that plan. So they all reconvene at the Miss Sun Queen competition that's right on the beach, hosted by the one, the only, Johnny Valentine.
Woo!
Who I guess is like
Jimmy
new,
Valentine.
Oh, sorry, Jimmy Valentine, who's like a new Elvis, let's say, because Elvis was
I don't
more
know
in like
what he
the
is.
50s in that heart. So he like looks like Elvis, but he's kind of like Frank
Dean?
Sinatra-ish or something, because he has like a New York accent. He's not Southern. He's definitely not Southern. Maybe he's from California even. I don't know.
No idea.
But they're all hot for him. Like Carson had a crush on him when she was young, and then Milena sees it as like a ticket out of here, basically, like hook up as a celebrity.
Well, she wants to win, and then she'll get famous because she'll date Jimmy, whatever, and then become famous. So she loses, and the slutty bitch girl from the beginning wins instead because she does a bikini dance in a Confederate bikini and does the little does all these crazy moves. Wow, pretty risque for 1963. I'll tell you.
I was really proud of her. I'm
surprised she didn't get arrested. I'm like,
surprised it was that same actress. She didn't even need a dance double.
Are you sure? Well, they didn't show her face, so how do you know?
No, I think it was her. I was very impressed with that split.
Oh, the split. I thought you meant the back bend. I was like,
no,
whoa.
and the back bend.
Yeah.
Also,
I always just get a little nervous.
To see a vulva.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I always get so nervous when people are in bathing suits and they do like those kinds of things. Why aren't people's vaginas coming out? Well, I think gymnasts have like special, like not a jock strap, but like probably something because you would definitely be able to see something.
Tape my bits together.
No, I know. I think they're like specially designed to like not show that stuff. But anyways, so here comes Harley. And Carson like freaks out and then like takes Buzz and is like, run, let's run. So they go back to the house or whatever, and then the girls make up like some lie. Well, only really like Luann seems to feel the need to like continue to lie. So she's like, Carson went back with Buzzy the maid somewhere. So they keep up this charade and go back to the house or whatever, and then Carson and Buzz like flee again and then like run away.
Yeah, they're like hiding upstairs or something. Meanwhile, to make it up to her for having her lose the Miss Sun Queen competition, Milena convinces Luann to get Johnny Valentine over to the house, claiming that there's like drinks with the senator who was her dad,
and a party with a band with a band and girls. Yeah.
So like he like shows up out of nowhere and it's not really a party.
How did he get there? Because I
don't know.
He had to be with his little manager guy all the time.
Snuck out or something. Yeah. So then she's cozying up to him and he's like, "This is pretty sweet. You're hot, but like I really need like a party." So she convinces Chip to like call his friends, and then it becomes this giant house party, like the likes of like 16 candles and like all that. I mean, like great. I love that. I mean, it's through the decades, man. You just have one person tells a friend, and they tell two friends, and they tell two friends,
and then they just storm. They storm through the door and immediately trash the house. They're like, "Party! Everybody throw popcorn on the floor now!"
But this is it's wild. So the drinking age is 18 at this time, so everyone can drink, and they just like bring a giant like metal, what is that called? Trough or something, and just start pouring straight up liquor into that. I think
all
maybe
different
wine.
Kinds.
I think it was a vodka.
Probably
I think it was gin.
No
I think
juice.
it was everything.
I'm gonna guess no juice.
People are drinking it out of their shoes. They're literally just putting their head in it all the way and just like, I mean, it was like wild.
It was a bad scene.
So then the floor turns into a slip and slide. They move all the furniture outside. It is like the wildest party
it's trashed
ever.
A couple new developments here. So Carson and Buzz have escaped to a boat, to Luann's father's boat called Daddy's Little Girl. Gross. Suck a D. And she goes all the way. She goes all the way with Buzzy.
Because she was not
Carson.
As proper Southern girls, we're not doing premarital sex. So it sounded like they didn't really have anything going on in this physical department, let's say. He was
downtown.
a square.
Yeah. So she's a wonderful night there. But
what did you say? She's a wonderful night right there.
Pudge and Chip, continue their wonderful night. They get drunk. I don't think do they kiss?
No, because, so Chip confesses to Pudge that he got into Naval Academy and he's leaving for Annapolis. He wants to be a Marine. So that's a bummer. She's going to college anyway, but still, like, that's scary. And, impending Vietnam. They didn't know this yet, but I hope, he made it. Chip, are you out there? Give us a call. So she's bummed. But then he's like, I just told Buzz I wanted to fall in love with a girl this summer so I can, like, have someone to write letters with. And so she's like, yay. And she's like, you can see her, like, smiling. And then he's like, but I don't have to do that now because I can just write letters to you. You're better than a girlfriend, basically. And it's just like deflated balloon. I'm in the friend zone. Poor Pudge.
Chip. I don't think he meant it like that. I think he meant like, you're not like other girls.
You're just so cool.
Because like, I like you. Like usually it's just girls you know, are objects to like kiss and are these like perfect things. But he really felt a connection.
A relationship Pudge. Like that with a girl that he could be himself around. Which is really what you're striving for. And like, you shouldn't have to not be yourself or put up with girls you don't like just because of like, they're pretty or whatever.
Exactly.
So, but unfortunately, Pudge doesn't hear it like that. And that's basically been like her whole life is just, guys don't like me like that, is what she says. Because she's very friendly. She might not be as glamorous as the other girls. I guess maybe she used to be a little chubby, as the name Pudge would suggest.
I got the feeling that she was supposed to be like still, that was what was fat. Well,
she was like slightly, because the other girls were like rail thin. Yeah. So if you want to like look at it, it was
like more about her styling and her confidence, right?
But I saw that also as like maybe a childhood nickname. Like there's you could be pudgy when you're young, and then kind of
like her mom still had her on a diet. I don't know. It was weird. Poor Pudge. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But poor Pudge.
So she walks out of there like not. Obviously still really liking him, but kind of bummed that now she thinks he only likes her as a friend.
Yeah. Elena has making out a lot with good old Jimmy. A lot of necking, if you will.
Wait, Jimmy or Johnny?
Jimmy. I wrote Jimmy. Okay. I asked you what his name was, and you were like, Jimmy Valentine. And then I wrote Total Drip, and then that was it. Yeah. So, I don't know, unless you lied to me. But, so, maybe you're thinking of Johnny from Grease.
Yeah.
What's that guy's name?
Johnny Casino and the Gamblers.
Yeah, Johnny Casino and the Gamblers.
This one's like Johnny and the Sand Dollars or something.
Dan and the Sand Dollars
is the band.
So yeah, Melena's getting her kicks. And then big shocker, Luann actually basically reveals her feelings for Harley, and they strike up a love connection on their own. And at this point, the party is completely out of control, and Luann passes out on the couch, and then we wake up the next morning.
You had a little too much of that party punch.
And the house is trashed. Those bitchy girls toilet papered the house because they couldn't get in the party. And it's just like, it's the biggest trash heap you ever saw. Like, it made me very anxious. Like, how the fuck are they going to clean this up? So, unfortunately, and in most movies where you have a big party and you don't want your parents to know, something happens and oops, my parents are arriving in like 2 hours from the airport because the maid has arrived and is like, your parents are coming. And she's like, what? So she gets everyone together, like everyone cleans. Somehow they clean the house in this time, but they don't really make a big deal about it. They just show them like casually sweep in here or there. Like, let's put the big fish back on the mantle. And like, it's like, just seems to be so like a non-issue.
They were coming at noon. What time do you think it was? Like 9?
Yeah, I don't know.
Could you clean that up in 3 hours?
She said an hour or like 2 hours when she went into the bathroom. It was like, my parents, it would please you to know my parents are coming, whatever. So Luann, continuing the charade as usual, sends Chip off to pick up her parents as a chauffeur. Chauffeur?
Joshy chauffeur
will never suspect. And he picks them up, and the parents are like, actually, we're going to the Shag contest because we're the judges.
Well, he was going to take them there anyway to like delay them
because he was going to be in the Shag contest with Pudge, and she got all mad at him, so he's like, I need to fix it.
So we forgot the part where Carson comes home and she confesses to her friends that she had sex with Buzz on the boat, and she does not want to get married to Harley.
Boom, boom, boom.
So they're supportive of it. They're supportive of it because they realized too, like the whole trip she was kind of like, didn't seem that excited about getting married, was going to miss, everyone else is going off to college, or like Melena wants to go to Hollywood. And basically, like, her dream ends, you know, she's going to be a wife and mother, which is great. And if you do that, that's awesome. But, like, she's only 18. So it's like she has a whole life ahead of us.
She hasn't lived her life.
And just didn't want to do that and was just kind of following along with custom. And it doesn't seem like she really even likes Harley. He does not give her a Laney boater at all, whereas Buzz is, like, hot shit. And not only that, but they have, like, a very... like their dynamic, like he doesn't take any of her shit, and like she like
talk about Shag, am I right?
She doesn't take any of her shit. She you know, he really like, you know, stands up to her, and she says she hates it, and she hates him, and she would never marry him if he was the last man on earth, but secretly I think
she loves
really
it.
Loves
yeah.
it.
Love it.
So she's trying to figure out how to tell Harley like the wedding is off,
but she just does. She does in the kitchen. He's like, and he gets mad, right?
But they don't call it off.
They don't call it off then. And then she runs off with Bud?
No, so then they are all getting ready to go, and Malena convinces Pudge to drive her to the shag contest.
Oh, right.
Because she came down with like in Luann's mom's clothing, and she's like, take that off, blah, blah, blah. And so they're all going to leave, but then Malena escapes with Pudge to the shag contest. So they all go running after them.
And then Harley... Harley, Carson, Buzz, and Luann follow in Harley's car, and so now they're all at the shag contest.
Yeah.
So
Pudge and Chip are supposed to be in it,
right? So she surprises him and is like, "I'm here! Like I registered us." So they're in the contest. Luann's parents are judging. Oops. But then Pudge and Chip dance, and they're awesome, and everyone freaks out, and they're like, look at Pudge! And, like, people barely recognize her. Like, even Luann's mom is like, no, that's not Pudge. She's fat.
She's in this amazing blue dress that fits her, like, just right. The skirt, like, spins so perfectly. Matching blue shoes, matching eyeshadow. She has her hair, like, half up, half down. She looks so
amazing.
good. And they do this amazing shag dance. They'd practiced all weekend. They were so cute, and they're just, like, so focused. And then also they, like, when she comes and he sees her, they both realize that they like each other and that they were both just, like, playing games. And they kiss. So they actually like each other. So all that's, you know, all
Meanwhile,
that's good.
Malena's set a new target on Jimmy, keeping like Jimmy Knoxville, Jimmy Valentine's manager. And she's like, he's the actual way in because he's not a loser and he's smart and like can actually get me a job in Hollywood probably. So that seems to work in her favor. So we're pretty certain she's going to go off to Hollywood and be the next, you know, whoever. And
Dead blonde.
I didn't want to say it, but
have you ever listened to the You Must Remember This podcast? She did like a whole series about dead blondes. Okay, there's a lot of them. There's like 10.
Morbid.
Who died like before them.
Morbid. But don't worry because Pudge and Chip fucking win the contest. Woo! So that's exciting. And then Luann and Harley decide to be together, and then Buzz Carson finds out or says, I'm in love with Buzz, and then Harley beats up Carson. There's this whole like kerfuffle, but then how does the kerfuffle end?
Well, like scene cut, and it's just at that party.
Oh
yeah. So I don't know how like
I don't know how they got over that.
Yeah.
Interesting decision. So then it's this like end of the summer party or whatever, and the girls sing this like their awkward like alma mater song from the high school, Spartanburg High or whatever, and it's like to the tune of the Dirty Dancing song. They're like, we are well, it's like how like every school has like a fight song, but it's all that general like na 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 na. It's the same melody, but like you just make up your own words.
It's the Kellerman song, different.
But it was like really awkward, and Malena's like, "What the fuck? Why am I doing this?" Super embarrassing. But anyways, we find out like everyone basically lives happily ever after. Luann's with Harley, Pudge is with Chip, Malena's going to be famous. They don't show her with somebody, right?
The agent's there,
He's
like, you can't have that cupcake.
Oh,
bullshit. Okay, that part not
total
great.
bullshit.
Not feminist.
Total
good
bullshit.
Stuff there.
Total bullshit. And Carson's with Buzz. So hooray!
But you don't know what happens at the end, and I kind of like after this. Like I mean, okay, let's do a sequel. Let's make our own sequel. Ready?
Yes.
Did they make it? What happened to Malena?
Dead
blonde?
Oh yeah.
Dead
I mean,
blonde?
I think she's turned to drugs, and then you know. I give her like 10 years, and then she probably did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Luann.
Luann, yeah, she, Harley, they get married. He becomes like her father's protege and then becomes a senator also.
Perfect.
And then she's just like basically her mother.
Buzz and Carson.
They have an amazing life where they just like drink cocktails and have fun and do fun things.
What happened to him after Yale? What did he
After Yale, I'd say lawyer. Probably a lawyer.
become? Okay. Pudge and Chip.
So Chip goes off to war, makes it home, becomes a war hero, and then they have like 10 kids and have a super fun life.
Yeah, they're probably shagging all over the place.
Shagging.
They're still shagging now.
Yeah, sexually and dancing all the time. So that's it.
Maybe she's a shag
Shag carpet, shag rug,
and a hairstyle.
Oh.
Maybe they shag golf balls together while they're shagging.
They do all the
with
shagging.
shag haircuts.
Too much shagging. I can't handle it. But yeah, I think that's a nice way to end it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was kind of sad that there wasn't like a bigger like sum up, even though that would have been stupid if they were like, if they had, like the little like paragraphs came on like buzz and blah blah blah. I know. It's lazy
but like
storytelling.
You
but
are like nice and attached to these characters, so you just want to see them.
And it just seemed like a little sudden. But yeah. But anyways, yeah, great movie. Favorite character, Duffy. But who are you gonna go with?
Pudge
And
Chip.
So,
I mean, can't beat that
I gotta
relationship.
say though, so poor Pudge. I mean, she really turns it around. They turn it around for her by the end. But I will say, like, her list of things is like pretty sad. Like, first of all, her name is Pudge, which I misheard as Fudge for the for the first like 10 minutes. And I was like, that is an awful nickname. Pudge again. She's supposed to be fat or whatever, but she's not really. But she does wear a lot of really frumpy clothes in the beginning, like button-ups, the clothes that do nothing for her body and don't do her any favors. Her nickname is Pudge, like I said. Her real name is Caroline Gorgeous. Yeah. And when Chippy finds that out, he's like, that's a beautiful name. And she's like, oh my God. So
what's Chip's real name?
Chipperson.
What?
No. Chip is a nickname for
you tell me.
Dale? No. I can't think of it.
It's probably like a lot of ones.
No, I know someone that, yeah.
Charles, Richard, or Christopher.
What? Okay.
But is commonly used in reference to the saying "a chip off the old block," meaning a son who takes after his father, like a junior. So it could be that too. Yeah, but mostly Charles or Christopher. Okay, well, he's a real chip though. He looks like a chip if I've ever seen one. Yeah, I agree. But she really does come around, and she's so cute, and I actually really connect to her because, as I said before, like I was totally that girl who like guys like loved being friends with, but I just could never
just, like,
get
ignored.
like over that
Yeah.
kind of like hump. And she's kind of dismayed to learn that like she thought Chip was kind of like her in that sense, but he has like made out or French the ear of some other girl.
So he's like sticking his tongue in an ear? Who wants to do that?
But it does seem like they're similar in the sense that like he has a hot friend, Buzz,
right?
And like
who gets all the attention.
Girls.
Yeah.
And which is why that one girl wanted to hook up with him because he really liked Buzz. So I was always kind of like that. Like I always had like one hot friend, and I was just like the cool, funny girl that people like to talk to, but I just could never like get a boyfriend or anything like that.
Same.
So I really connected to Pudge.
Totally.
And like I said, the dance scene in the end, oh my God, I wanted to be her so bad when I was little. I was obsessed with that scene.
Yeah. It's definitely like a Cinderella story, esque.
Yeah.
Where you,
Right, because it's like they want you to like, Phoebe Cates is obviously like the main character and like her story is kind of the main one, but you don't really like, there's not really a big connection to her. She's so icy as she's supposed to be, but
right.
She comes around too because she's like, when she loses her virginity, she's like, I'm wild and I never knew it. Like, okay, are you?
Well, I think she just didn't try to be wild before. But then, I mean, Luann, I feel bad also for Luann. Yeah. She, I mean, really out of all of them, she gets the worst, hand here. She gets sexually harassed and molested by that creepo in a sombrero and like fake teeth on the dance floor. And her friends are like, bye, see ya.
Horrible friends.
And like, what the fuck? And then she's like, listen, like I didn't tell my parents we were here, so we have to be like, don't sit on the couch. And like, we can't leave any trace that we were at this house. Right. And Milena's like, let's have a party! And then, like, they trash the house. I'm like, some friend. And then she's, like, trying all her mom's clothes. And she's like, hey, don't wear my mom's clothes. And Melena's like, you're a bitch. And then, like, steals the car and goes off.
Well, in this situation, it almost makes you think of, like, I feel like we did another movie where, like, why were they friends with Luann?
Now and Then.
Or, yeah. Right. Like, she was the Chrissy. And, like, so in that dynamic, there's always one of those. Same with Charlotte in the Sex and the City.
Yeah.
Like, why are you friends with this girl? You clearly, like, have a huge problem with how she is, and you don't have anything in common with her. The other girls were a little bit more, like, laid back. Was it like they were all friends when they were really, really little, and then they just kind of, like, went their own ways?
I think, that was my interpretation for sure. I mean, like, good she ends up with Harley, but Harley's such a drip. You're like, oh, of course she gets the most boring one. But they seem to have a nice time together. I don't know what they talk about. Boring things, I guess. But good for her. But anyways, poor Luann. I did appreciate that they show her getting she's at one point in the house trashing scene. She's like, oh, fuck it. And then just, like, chugs the nasty, like, alcohol juice punch.
I love that scene. And that all it took to get her shit faced, too.
Yeah. I mean, I believe it because there's a lot of alcohol in that drum. And then, Milena, obviously, again, gorgeous. She would probably be my favorite character if I saw this when I was younger. And I would have been like, oh, I want to be her so bad. Yeah. And, like, she just has that, like, perfect 60s bombshell, like, look about her. And I'm, like, so jealous about it.
Great clothes. Like, because they're, like, the 60s style, but, like, the sexy end of the 60s style stuff. Because you have, like, Carson and Luann, doing, like, the more classic 60s stuff. So you had those, I mean, they're adorable dresses, and they have matching headbands, and they have the Jackie like, Kenny Onassis, like, or at this point, Jackie Kennedy, like, little flip. And, like, if you know anything about the 60s, like, you came off of the 50s and still had that very, like, classic look and poodle skirts and, like, all that stuff. But then as the 60s, like, progressed, you got into more of, like, the free love and, like, the hippies and, like, the 70s and pants and, like, and tight and, like, that kind of stuff sort of took over. So this is really starting a little bit to, like, move into that with the styles of, like, Milena a little bit, which I love. So I love that all the girls had their kind of own style, personality too, which must have been a blast to do the costume design for this.
Oh, I know. Everything. I was really impressed with actually all of the work, like, putting into this that went into, like, making it look like a time from the 60s. Because I don't know where they filmed this. I don't think it was probably really at Myrtle Beach, because in 1989 I don't think it looked like this, but, like, the amount of, like, cars they had in that scene when they arrive at Myrtle Beach, you know, I was just thinking about it. I was like, oh, how do you feel? Because I think have been filming a lot of movies in Boston, and I remember when they were filming, like, one of those terrible, like, Ben Affleck movies about the, I don't know, you know, old cars, blah blah blah. I remember they had lined up a bunch of old cars on the street to film a scene, but it was still only, like, 4 cars. And this was, like, 50 cars. And I can just imagine, like, wow, it must have been crazy to film that. Like, all the extras and, like, how fun it must have been to be, like, in that costume. And I don't know. It just seemed like a really fun movie to film and to be in. So, like, Bridget, if you want to, like, contact us and let us know how it was, like, love to know. Yeah. What else?
She's already said, we brought up the Dirty Dancing, but this is kind of like a Southern Dirty Dancing, if you will. You have, like, the good girl going with, like, he's not, like, a bad guy, though, which I didn't really remember from when I watched this as a kid. I thought he was, like, the, like, rough around the edges guy, but he's actually, like, going to Yale and is really smart.
Balloon condoms or with water at the car or whatever, then I don't know.
He was, like, going to Yale when it didn't mean anything to me when I watched it when I was little, so I was like,
what's a Yale?
Whatever. An important question tackled in this movie is, does a penis have a bone in it? Why is it called a boner? The girls are very confused, and even Andre was.
I was only confused because I've seen a lot of television shows or movies where someone breaks their dick. Usually, like doctor shows. Like, I think there's probably a Grey's Anatomy episode about that, but there's definitely, like, a Big Little Lies. Like, remember she hits his dick with, like, the golf club or something, and then he, like, breaks the dick. There's another Nicole Kidman.
She does?
Yeah. then there's another movie where they break the dick and having sex. Like it happens a lot in sexual
But did you
injuries.
look it up?
I looked it up, and it was
Is it
like
the
yes, it's
blood
a common.
vessels or
Even though
something?
there's not a bone, it's like it's something
You
with
can
the
break the blood vessels or break something, the veins. I don't
something
know.
with the tissues or
Yeah,
something. I
the
don't know, but like
tissues.
the,
It's sensitive.
But like I thought they needed like a cast on the dick in
Because
this
just to
television
keep
show.
it like.
Right.
Because if it gets erected all, like all that is like out of the way, so you
Wow.
don't want it
Yeah,
to even
that
like,
sucks.
get near that.
Sucks a lot.
Yeah, but so for the record,
no bone,
no bones
no
in the
bone
penis.
in the penis.
Yeah,
Good
Yep.
to know.
It's Floppy City when it wants to be.
Yes, I know that.
Have you ever seen a penis?
Yes, God, I'm not Pudge.
Okay. Also, lesson to be learned here: if someone asks you to dance, say no first.
I don't like Marlena's games. I don't like them.
No, she was doing that so she could dance with somebody.
I know, but then
first.
she had all those other games, like
Yeah.
like pretend you hate him, and then
Right.
and shut the door in his face, and then wait 5 minutes and go after him.
Yeah.
But,
So
like-
I mean, she says if you want a guy to like you, like look really hot and then pretend they don't exist, which is like something that a lot of women do. I've never prescribed to that at all.
I hate that shit.
It's mixed signals.
No.
Don't play games.
Yeah.
Don't play
No
games.
games.
Have you learned anything, guys? Don't play games. And don't hook up with white trash. That was also a lesson to be learned in this film, which Marlena hopefully has learned.
I mean,
at
he
this
was
point.
a rape artist if I ever
He
saw
was
one.
disgusting.
That
but
guy.
and I remember that scene a lot when I was young too. I thought she was like getting it on with him in the car, and I did not see it as assault. So good for me. I was so naive. I guess I didn't know anything about that. But when the girls drag her out and cover her with shaving cream, then with tissues, then hold her nose and then pour whiskey in it or bourbon or whatever, that seems like some Southern torture or something.
Scary.
I don't know.
That was scary.
That was scary.
They were like, I'm in the KKK,
Yeah.
and this is something we do. Like, it was really
I
fucking
remember that when I
weird.
was little and being that traumatized by that, not even
Yeah.
the assault part. And like they're
You
dragging her.
You didn't think it was assault, so why would you be
Exactly.
traumatized?
But when they're like dragging her, she's
out of the
like,
car, and she's like, I've just been raped. Like,
Yeah.
I'm getting assaulted, and now I'm
Right.
getting beat up,
like,
and
she's
like,
like, help your sister out. I've just been
Yeah,
assaulted, and now these
awful.
girls are gonna assault me. Those girls,
yeah,
suck.
they sucked so
Hate
bad,
them.
so bad. The beauty I wish the beauty contest was like a little like higher budget. I felt bad. It was like super low budge. The girls just like come out in their bikini or whatever, and then they do like their talent act and on this like green like golf mat, like what is that called? Like fake grass mat
turf.
or what turf, and it's so awkward.
You know what was even weirder about that? That the judges were behind them, so they had to turn their back to the audience and like do their whole routine. And like the girl who won, the slut girl in the Confederate bathing suit, who does like the crazy moves, actually does turn around and do stuff to the audience and then some to the judges too. I mean, she knew how to work it.
That's true.
But the sad baton girl doing like way down upon the Swanee River, oh my God.
And
get
she
a
had tap
grip.
shoes on. I'm like, girl, they're not working. You can't tap on the turf.
Yeah.
Not going to work. Oh, that was so embarrassing. But I do love a beauty contest. And
I remember that scene
I
while I was
wished,
little, too.
I wished it was a little, higher budge. But whatever. Still liked it. Still loved it. Couple limbo scenes in this. A lot of limbo happening in Myrtle Beach.
Limbo.
I
I used to be
wasn't.
so good at limbo.
I bet you,
That
I'm
was
sure you were
amazing.
amazing on it because Sweetie, if you don't know, was a dancer, very flexible. She could do that. I was not great at it. I've never been really flexible. Good dancer, but not flexible. So also, I just don't think limbo is fun. Like, I don't want to like hurt my back trying to get under a stick. Like, for what? Like a dumb prize? Like, no thanks.
How
But
low can you go? Pork chop, how low can
There's
you go?
so many Doug references in this.
For some reason, that always reminds me of Limbo. There's a scene with Doug where there's like a party and Pork Chop is doing the limbo and all the kids are chanting, how low can you go? Pork chop, how low can you go? Pork
BB,
chop.
and
Yeah,
then like
BB.
everyone goes under, and it's like so funny.
Pork chop is
Oh
doing
my
the
god,
limbo.
I love pork chop. Just so everyone knows, my AOL screen name when I was
we've
little,
told this
I know,
story.
and a while ago though, so I think we should retell it. My AOL screen name, I was obsessed with Doug, was Pork Chop or like Pork C14 or something. Loved it. Sweetie signed on with my name, Pork C, and got into like a lesbian chat room and got me kicked off because she was trolling the lesbians. And I got kicked off at AOL because of that. So couldn't use Pork C. Never
I'm
got
not
to
proud
use
of
it.
that moment, guys. I'm
Hated.
All
So
we
mad at
asked
you.
was
So mad
what
at you.
flavor dildo they used, which doesn't even make sense. I don't even know what we were thinking. And it wasn't me. It was my friend Sarah Wood who instigated the whole thing. So I'm sorry. And she should have apologized to you. I don't think she ever did.
Of course not.
I'm sorry to this day, and I'm sorry, R.I.P. Pork Chop.
Love him though.
1486.
Still love it. Love Doug so much. Okay, anything else?
Palo, can you go? Pork Chop, Palo, can you go? No, I think that's it. Just again, adorable movie, guys. If you have a chance to see it, if for some reason this is ever on TV, you see it in there in the TV guide. Shag, 1989, starring Phoebe Cates, Bridget Fonda, Annabeth Gish. You click on that and you watch it, and you will not be sad.
They'll add it to Netflix in like a year, and then everyone will tell us. But
I'm gonna write to them.
Thanks to all the fans who let us know that Now and Then is finally on Netflix after like 3 years of us complaining.
Yeah.
But yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. And thanks again to our fan Rebecca for providing us with our DVD. Let us know if you have a DVD that you think we should watch and isn't streaming. Feel free to send it to us. We will send it back, and we will thank you on air.
Good times. Cool. Well, come find us and talk to us about your DVDs or whatever.
DVDs, that old technology.
You can find us on Twitter at The Sweetie Club or on Instagram at Large Marge Sent Us. Thank you, as always, for listening. Bye.
Rape artist.